I don't know if humans can do this. This is not the best hand pose. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You have to learn, and that's what we're here to do today. So hand poses are important, and the biggest thing is just reference. Make sure if you can't do what your character is doing, then it's wrong most of the time. Hey, want to be reviewed? Just send your animations in the Professor Goo review channel in the Discord. Each stream, I'll be going over one animation, which will be randomly selected from that channel. If you happen to be in stream that day, we'll go over it and maybe even jump into a call. If you want to watch these streams live, go to twitch.tv/DylanGoo. All right. Megabytes. Megabytes. Oh, this is going to be good. Let's talk about this. This is great. Bruh! Oh, that looked painful. Oh god. Yo, the oven mitt. All right. So first of all, let's start with this. We have this this hand pose, which Megabytes, I gotta tell you. This is not the best hand pose. This is something that I recommend if you can just use some reference. I would not bend the thumb down this much. Like, this is way too much. The thumb is like bending down too much. And then this is bending in too far as well. So let me give you a good example of how this should look. Let's see here. So this finger, first of all, should be straight. Should be a straight finger. That is something that looks a little bit painful because of the sort of unnatural pose. Most people don't have this curve at the end unless they're like super double jointed, which is, you know, relatively rare. And even if it was, it would be relatively uncomfortable looking either way. For this thumb, I would not wrap it around quite as far. Yeah, and then the actual fingers that are doing, you know, the bulk of the fingering here, they curve here, right? So you're gonna see something like this instead. And the perspective on this isn't perfect, but basically, as you can see here, the fingers don't go nearly as far. They actually end around here, right? So like if you try to actually make this hand pose, I guarantee you it'll probably hurt. It'll probably take a lot of effort, I should say. And if it takes a lot of effort to do and you're trying to make a casual motion for your character, then it's wrong. You got to make sure that you actually do it, you know, in a way that makes sense. So yeah, that's a little yeah, I mean this pose as well. For this handshake animation, I would just say that as reference, get some reference in. You should definitely have the elbow out. This is just a small thing from an acting perspective. If you're in pain, you're gonna have the loosest, most ergonomic arm pose. And quite frankly, we naturally do not leave our elbows at our sides when we do something like this. Like it's kind of interesting. It's like, in order to do, for example, like a bicep curl, like it actually takes some, if you guys have ever worked out with bicep curls, like it actually takes some effort to keep your elbow close to your body. And the reason for that is because it's not our natural pose. We actually prefer to have our elbows at around a 45-degree angle. And so like if we lift our hand up, and we, especially if we're in pain, we're not going to be thinking about tucking our elbow in, right? So you want to make sure the elbow is pointing out here, for example. So that's one small thing. And that's something, again, if you use reference, you'll notice these things. If you record yourself getting burned, don't actually get burned, please. Acting. If you record yourself getting burned, you'll notice that, like, you know, your arm will actually lift up quite a bit. Your elbow will lift up quite a bit, and you want to make sure you replicate that. Here we have this pickup animation. No. No. And I'm being blunt here, guys. This is bad. But this is of course, it has like, basically this is like a very, very beginner animation if you see something like this, because you're not actually showing any kind of body mechanics for how picking up things should be like. This is something that you're gonna need to have some understanding of, like, how do you pick up things. Now, this is acceptable if you're doing it as a sort of as like a sort of low quality animation on purpose or something like that. It could work, but this is of course not going to be convincing at all. So I would say, first of all, humans have opposable thumbs for a reason, right? So this looks like she basically just had glue on her hand and like put her hand on the thing, got it stuck, and then like pulled it up. And then it also has no weight, right? So no no bitches. Just kidding. So no weight, and no opposable thumb. So we do need the opposable thumb. The opposable thumb is what makes us human. It is a very, very important part of our dexterity as humans. So you definitely need to have the opposable thumb functioning. What that means is that if you're going to pick something up, make sure that you actually have the fingers on this side, right? And then the thumb on this side, right? So you need to have an object in between the fingers and the thumb. Otherwise, you can't pick things up. Otherwise, it's just glued on, which is not good. So there's no weight and there's no opposable thumb. That's very important. These things have to be properly calibrated. Megabytes. What is this? Megabytes, what is this? What is this? That's a thumb. That should not be there. That thumb should not be on the same side as the fingers. If you wanted to have this though, the rest of the fingers are actually great. So all you have to do to fix this is pretty simple. All you gotta do, check this out. It's just not show the thumb, because the thumb actually would be underneath here, probably like here-ish, right? And that would look pretty good. So if you just didn't show the thumb in this particular pose, you would actually be in better shape, because the thumb would be implied to be behind, which would be good. And then you have a pretty good pose. But yeah, the thumb should not be here. This is very important. Opposable thumbs are important. Opposable thumb. Boom. But yeah, so that's going to be really, really, really good to keep in mind as you're doing hand poses. And I would say the same thing here. This is a little bit too flat. Like, you can't really tell if this is a left or right hand. That's something that is not great for the pose itself. So if you want that to be actually more clear, which we usually do because it's usually quite obvious in real life, is I would recommend the thumb, because I know this is a right hand, right, from the context, but I would actually put the thumb here, right? Oopsies. Anyway, something along those lines, right? So if you actually have a thumb there, suddenly, you know, this hand pose feels and reads a lot better, right? So this is going to be like so. Yeah. So you can kind of already imagine this is a much better hand pose, because you can already tell it's more relaxed. It's a right hand. You have better, more opposable thumbs. Once again, opposable thumbs, very important. We can talk about the eye acting. The eye acting here is not bad, actually, to be honest. So what Megabytes is doing pretty well here is he's saving the he's doing a good job with the eye animation. So like one thing is that's really good to do, which I do commend, is like the eye moves with a blink. That's really good. Like having the eyes, the eye movements hidden by a blink is something that we do very naturally. So I do highly recommend doing that in your own animations. This is something that is very, very natural looking. So that's great. That's really, really great. So we do want that. We want stuff like that. We could probably emphasize it just a bit more. So like, for example, by the time he opens up his eyes here, I would actually recommend, just as a small thing, to have it like already like closer to the end position, which is like here. Like just have it already there. Like that'll read better anyway. Yeah, so those are really the main notes. I think it's pretty straightforward. We have we need better hand poses with the opposable thumbs, very important. Wait, let me see. Do you use opposable thumbs here? Megabytes, I'm watching. Megabytes, no! Megabytes! Where's the thumb? We need more opposable thumbs, Megabytes. More opposable thumbs. More opposable. This is very, very important. That's my biggest note for you. Opposable thumbs. You need them. You need opposable thumbs. You would not fit all 5 fingers into the handle. Yeah. Yeah, so we need opposable thumbs. Hang on, I gotta check. Do you use opposable thumbs here, Megabytes? Oh, you do! Hey, look at that! Opposable thumb. Check mark. Check mark. That's good. Good. So as you can see, 1 side, 2 sides. So we do need to have fingers on either side of the object. Either side of the object. Just like so. Yeah. Yeah, opposable thumbs. Let's go. All right, perfect. Cool. Alrighty.